And it is week 3 of the Save the Cat experiment. Okay, so I am still outlining my 4th novel. For those of you who haven't tuned in from the beginning, I'm gonna have the previous week's videos of me outlining linked down below, so you can start from the beginning if you would like. But this is part of the Save the Cat experiment, which was created by Bethany Adazada and Brittany Wang. So they have decided to test out the Save the Cat Writes a Novel book and basically use it to outline a novel slash story with everyone during live streams. So I will link their previous live stream for this past week in the description so you can check it out, because it's honestly very cool to see them coming up with a novel together and doing it live nonetheless. Now, before I go any further, I do want to do a quick little notice for you guys. So I'm actually running a sale right now for signed copies of my book. Any of my paperback books are for sale for $10, and my hardcover books are for sale for $15. And that is if you buy a signed copy of the book. So buy as many books as you would like. I have a ton in stock, so you should be able to buy a book. I have Essence, I Am Mercy, and She's Not Here. All of them have the new covers. All of them are gorgeous and pretty, and you can get the book signed and personalized. And if you live outside of the US, because I think I might be limited to shipping to the US right now. I might be able to ship to Canada. I can't remember. But if you live outside the US, I do have book plates available. And a book plate is basically a sticker that I will sign, and you take the sticker and you plop it on the first page of the novel. That way it's like you have a signed book, and that way you also don't have to pay the outrageous shipping. Now, if you would like a signed book plate, I give a signed book plate now to all my patrons, no matter what level you are. If you're a patron, you get a signed book plate sent to you. So yeah, if you want to check out my Patreon page, be sure to go to the links down below, because that's not the only thing I offer. I also have cool little exclusives, downloadable PDFs, and if I get 10 patrons, I'm gonna do a half-hour webinar exclusive for my patrons. So yeah, be sure to check that out. That's just some exciting stuff that I've been working on. But back to the actual news. Today we are working on my book, my 4th novel, which who knows when it will be published, because I don't even know when this outline is going to be done. In theory, if I go with the flow with how everything has been going, I will have this outline done in May. So I'm actually going to tune out for a little bit, and I'm going to start outlining. Alrighty, so I'll admit I'm actually having a very hard time concentrating, and I think part of it is that, so today I'm working on the catalyst and the debate, which I thought was going to be really hard to work on, but I actually didn't even realize I already have the catalyst and the debate kind of sort of figured out. So now I was like, well, what do I do today? Because I still feel like I don't have a full grasp, but I feel like I just need to slowly go through this, and by the end of all this, I'll feel like I have that grasp. And again, I'm not an outliner, so I have like a vague sense, like I know the big plot twist in this book, and I'm actually very happy with it, because I've kind of figured out how I'm gonna make the plot twist work and make it believable, and basically I have the plot twist in mind and how I'm gonna get the reader to think the absolute opposite's gonna happen. And I have that in mind. I have a general idea. I don't have like specific scenes in mind yet. The only like real specific scenes I have in mind is the opening scene and like the catalyst and like a few other different scenes. Everything's kind of all over the place right now. So I actually didn't make a whole lot of notes in my notebook today. what I did instead was, in an effort to kind of feel inspired, is that I went on Pinterest and I started pinning things for aesthetic reasons. Because one thing that I regretted when I was writing She's Not Here, I wrote the book and then I made the aesthetics, which felt very opposite to me, because when I made the aesthetics I was like, oh, but does the book feel that way? But when I did the aesthetics I realized I wanted the book to feel that way. So I went back and did some rewriting to make sure the book itself matched the aesthetic I wanted to give. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully share the actual Pinterest aesthetic eventually in my Patreon page. But I do want to go through kind of what Save the Cat Writes a Novel says should be the catalyst in the debate. So the catalyst, I have a few things underlined here, but the catalyst is basically what causes the main character to really wake up and realize they need to change things. So like here it says, most people won't change their ways until something bad happens. It's a single scene beat, so it's just one thing that happens, whether it be an event or they learn about something or something like that. Something happens to the hero to send their life in an entirely new direction. And then when you're doing that, you want to ask yourself, can my hero easily return to their normal life and continue doing what they are doing after this happens? And when I got to this part, I was like, oh, I already figured out the catalyst, because it's the whole turning point of the novel. And I think my catalyst is very early on in the book. Mostly because if it wasn't early on, it'd be kind of boring. And I'm the type of writer that likes to just hop right into it. I don't like giving like a whole lot of background. I like to jump into the action first and sprinkle in the background later on, which is okay to do. Jessica Brody said that, just because these are the beats doesn't mean it's necessarily always in this order. So next, I wanted to work on the debate. So this is the part where your hero doesn't accept the change right away. They kind of mull over things, decide how they're going to continue. It's a multi-scene beat in which you visibly show how resistant your hero is to accept the change that's been thrown at them. So you have this big event that happens, and instead of the character just being like, okay, I'll adjust, you really see them struggling for multiple scenes, of course. And it's also when they're preparing for Act 2. So we have the Act 1 world where you kind of get a feel of what the normal character's world is. You have the Act 2 world, which is when big change happens and they're adjusting to this new world. And then we have Act 3, which I'll probably talk about more. But basically the idea is that you want Act 3 to be the complete opposite of the Act 1 world. So I think in my head, it feels like things are starting to come together. I can kind of picture the 3 separate acts and the different beats. I think it's going to get a little bit more complicated as I get more into the beats, because right now it feels like it's a multi-dimensional story, but in my head, it just feels very simple. So I really need to figure out those individual scenes to feel good about it, which is something I never do when I outline. Usually when I'm outlining a story, as far as I've gotten right now, that's when I stop and I just start writing, because right now I feel like I know the story good enough that I could just sit down and start writing it. But we're outlining, and this is something I've never done before. Usually what I do is that I'll write the story and I just brain dump for draft 1. And then when I go into draft 2, I actually go ahead and actually just read through draft 1 and I make an outline of draft 1. And then I edit that outline and then I rewrite draft 2 according to that outline. So that's where things are gonna get a little more mushy, because I don't normally do this like this. So we're gonna see, but I wanted to write a traditional thriller with a huge plot twist. So in order to do that, I really do have to give outlining the whole effort. So yeah, that's how this has been going. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. I hope you guys have been enjoying the writing vlogs and watching me struggle a little bit. If you'd like to become one of my patrons, be sure to sign up. The link is down below and you'll be able to hear everything about my 4th novel. Or if you would like to buy a signed copy of my books, they're currently on sale, $10 for a paperback, $15 for a hardcover book, and it will be personalized to you. Otherwise, that is it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe.